Hello everybody, welcome back to Automation. My name is Marcus, and today we are continuing, and in fact concluding, our Let's Play of Consolidated Motor Cars Incorporated. We're here in 2008, and I don't think we're actually going to introduce any new models this time around. I think we've covered all of our bases, let's go ahead and start running through our final round of facelifts and updates. So we'll just start with the Conquistador because it's on top. Now the main thing that we're going to be doing this time around is trickling down direct injection to the rest of our engine lineup. We had already installed it on our Firefly motor, the flat 6 that we're using for the upscale model, but I want to go ahead, and now that we have a little bit of familiarity in it, hopefully we should be able to move it on to the rest of all of our models as well without taking too much of a hit in engineering time. So let's go in here. This is going to be, of course, the Utility 08 model. And really not too much to see here. I am going to give it variable valve timing, though. That I think we can afford to slide that in now. We will switch over to direct injection. We'll take it down to just 1 point of added quality. And just one more 100 RPMs on the revs. We'll take the ignition timing up a tiny bit, and then we will grab the rest in compression. Man. Allows you to run so much more compression, 92 horsepower from 2.2 liters. I mean, that's a little bit underwhelming, to be honest, but I'm not going to do anything about it because it's a utility motor and it's fine. Good enough is good enough sometimes. All right, moving right along. I don't think we're going to have too many major updates to make on this side. We'll give it a 6-speed automatic so that we can have a lower first gear. Do they like that? Yeah, they do like that, and I'm going to make the gearing a little taller to take out some of that wheel spin, and a little bit better fuel economy as well. There we go. That gets us down into the blue warning territory, which is where I want to be. Hard long life. This all is looking okay. 0.77, that's a little bit low, even for a pickup truck. Let's maybe give it slightly wider tires. Actually, I mean, they don't seem to like that. They like it better with the narrower ones. Okay, we'll stick with it then. Brakes, therefore, all seem all right, although I might put in some cooling airflow because we're taking a lot of utility fade. Let's see if we can do something about that by upping the brake airflow a little bit. Yeah, we can, and that helps the score significantly, too. 50? Yeah, that looks really good. Okay. Basic, looking good. Ooh, we can upgrade to electric variable steering. We will give it ESC, and standard 2000s. We'll give it the most recent safety. Anything we need to do suspension-wise? You know, I actually don't think so. I think this all is looking very good. Okay. Quick one on this one. Let's jump now into the off-road variant. All right, looking through the off-road 08, our little SUV here, of course, we're using the same engine. I'm going to give it the 6-speed automatic as well, and the same sort of treatment for gearing. Just get rid of that wheel spin, but still leaving the first gear as low as we possibly can have it. Sticking with our existing tire sizes, do we need to do some brake airflow on this one too? Yeah, I think this one would benefit from it. Let's crank that up a little bit. Also to 50. Yeah, that looks very good. Okay. All right. This is, I don't think we're going to fiddle with the seats. Give it the same steering, safety upgrades. Okay, everything looking good here. That roll angle still quite reasonable. All right, that's the Conquistador. Medium 3 factory. We can't do any upgrades because it's on a medium 3 plot. But we can give it a little bit more tooling quality, a little bit more automation. We'll make a few more of them. And, oh yeah, we can up our QA threshold quite a lot. That looks good. Engineering time, 84 months. Honestly, though, that's fine. We might even go a little bit longer because this is going to be our final trim, and our current one's selling well. So we can crank this right up to a 96-month, what's that, an 8-year engineering time? I mean, that's a little bit long. That's a little long even for me, but on the other hand, I mean, do I care? I don't think so. As long as our tooling... The only question is I don't know if our tooling can last 8 years at full utilization. Let's put it there for now because I want it to be reliable, but keep moving along. Engine factory, not too much to see here. And this guy here, whoa, 135 months, but we had our pressure slider all the way down, so we can crank this up. We don't need to have it cranked all the way up on reliability. We can also take a little bit out of process as well. Maybe we should do that for the car trim as well, but we'll go back to that. Okay, 96 months. That matches up nicely. Scores are looking promising. All right, let's go back to the hub and keep moving right along here. Next up, it's the turn of the Mobilizer. This is probably going to be the most interesting of our updates. I'm going to start off with the budget hatch because we're going to get direct injection in here, and that should, I'm hoping, let us get the power that we were looking for from the sport variant of the motor, because I remember last time it did feel a little bit, a little underwhelming, to be honest. So we'll go for the EO1 first. Of course, it's going to be the EO8 now. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing, just give it direct injection with 1 point of quality. Okay. Just going to take ignition timing up to 55 again. This is going to be a little bit repetitive, to be honest. Give it the VVT. Compression all the way up. Ooh, not quite that far. Down just a little bit. Jumping on through. Everything looking good. Okay. Moving along here. We'll drop it. I think, let's see, do they like... Nah, these guys actually like to stick with the 5-speed. It's a basic car, so that actually makes a lot of sense. So let's leave it. Yeah, let's leave it and just move along. Everything looking good. Looking good. Interior, nothing new actually, and we'll give it the electric variable, ESC, standard 2000s. All the electronics, we'll just upgrade the electronics to be current. Nothing else to really see here. 6.4 roll angle, suspension tuning still looks good. I like that 100% comfort, 106% drivability. That's right where I want to be. Still not a bad looking car either, I think. I actually, the front end of this has sort of grown on me. But moving right along, now we get to jump into the hot hatch, which I think should be the more interesting variant. Let's see what kind of power can we squeeze out of our sport variant here in its final iteration. Obviously, we're going to give it direct injection. I'm going to let it rev a little bit higher. We don't need all that quality in there. We can dump a little bit more fuel into it. Should I give it... does it help to give it ITBs? No, it doesn't. The single's still good. What about a performance intake? Does that help? Yeah, performance intake does help. So that's an easy way to get a little bit more power. And let's see, can we get a little bit more aggressive? I don't want to go too much more aggressive on the cam, but I think we can go a little bit more aggressive. And we've got so much headroom for compression. Oh man, let's just jam it in there. 140 horsepower, that's not too bad, but I think if we loosen up the turbo a little bit, we'll give it just a little bit more boost. Let's crank it right up to 11 psi. We'll have to drop some of that compression back out, but that's okay. And then what we'll do is make the compressor a little bit larger. Make the turbine also a little bit larger. I'd really like to get 150 horsepower. That would, I think, would suit us really nicely on this car. Oh yes, 154 horsepower. I think is still a reasonable boost threshold. Excuse me. It's crept up a little bit to about 3,100 RPM, but that's okay. I'll trade that to get that peak power up there because I really felt like we needed it last time. Okay, and let's see how this looks on the rest of it. Sequential. Do we want a sequential manual, or do we want a dual clutch? Maybe. Ooh. Oh yeah, they like a dual clutch a lot better, and we have some familiarity in it from the manual. I say we go for it, and yeah, that'll help the score quite a bit as well. 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds. That's pretty good. I can live with that. That's in the neighborhood that we're looking for. 9.9, almost 1G in the corners on the circle test, which is pretty competent as well. We might want slightly more aggressive brakes to tame that fade, and then a little bit of brake airflow, also just to tame the fade. 15? Yeah, I think that's okay. Interior, basic CD, looking great. We'll upgrade our electrics. That's going to help this segment a lot, because electric power steering is just kind of... it's good in that it's efficient and it doesn't use a lot of extra power off of the engine, but it's especially the early systems were really bad for steering feel and giving feedback through the wheel. They weren't great in terms of driver engagement, and the electric variable system, I think, is representative of a system that is a little bit better, has worked some of those kinks out. What you'd see more like in a new car today. Still, and this is, I think, reflected in game, still not quite as nice feeling as the variable hydraulic, but still a lot better than just plain electric. This was sort of just numbtown. Anyways, tangent over. I don't think there's anything I want to do on the suspension side. Like, everything is still looking really good. Should we give it semi-active sway bars? Yeah, just for the sake of giving a little bit of a change, it does make a nice buff to sportiness, actually. That's pretty good. Okay. I like it. Last thing to do is just to rename it and move on down the line. Factory tooling, it's a large 3. We're already maxed down on it, so nothing that we can really do, but I am going to give it a little bit more automation and a little bit more tooling quality so we can crank out a few more units of it at a little bit lower unit cost. And looks like the 96-month engineering time is going to be the... it's longer than I'd like, but man, we'll put a little bit of pressure in, just up like that. I mean, that's how it is with the ESC, man. It just shoots the engineering time, but yeah, it is what it is. Engine factory, not too much to see here either. I think we actually might even want to just drop the QA threshold slightly, a little more tooling quality too. Actually, I'm going to give it substantially more tooling quality. That way we don't have to eat as much out of the QA. Not as many units go to waste. That's what I'm trying to say. And wow, 173 months, but it's the same deal. We just have to fix our sliders here. That brings us to 109 months. We don't need quite this much process. We'll take that down to 50, and then we will grab the rest out of reliability. That's still a pretty aggressive reliability slider, though, so I'm not mad about it. And these are still nice reliability numbers overall. Okay, looking good. I think this is the first time we've seen, like, the hot hatch has actually sold relatively well, but it's never looked all that good in the forecaster. This is the first version, I think, we've seen that actually looks promising in the forecaster, so that's nice. All right, that's all looking great. Let's go back on through now and do the Liberator. Okay, now for the Liberator, starting off with the family sedan. We're going to replace the other variant of the 2.2 liter Reliant motor. It turns out, I mean, I guess I did kind of expect it when I made these engines for them to last the remainder of the game, but like, for some reason I thought maybe somewhere along the line we'd make new ones, but they've just proved to be adequate for the whole time, so it hasn't been necessary to make a new engine. But that's okay. Old is good sometimes. Let's see here. Direct injection +1, same song and dance that we all know and love at this point. Put the compression in. I think we're going to up our ignition timing too a little bit. That helps. For efficiency, running a more aggressive ignition timing. Excuse me, can't talk today. Running a more aggressive ignition timing seems to help for efficiency beyond where placing the plateau would seem to be optimal on the face of it. Once you unlock the higher tech fuel injection systems. Okay, nothing else to really see here. I think this is looking good. All right. Gearing. This guy, I think, maybe should get a 6-speed, and we'll give it a little bit taller gearing, excuse me. Not high, well, also higher gearing. It's higher and it's taller. It's both. Let's give it 205s. I think that should help a little bit. Yeah, that looks okay. Braking, looking still very good. Interior, standard basic, which is exactly what I want. This one already had ESC, I guess. We put it on last time. Look at us with that foresight. That looks very good. This is a family trim, so we'll target that one. They like the fancy dampers. It's not too much more expensive, and at this point we've got so much familiarity in it. Meh, I say it's fine, but I do think we need to go just a tiny bit stiffer on the sway bars. Yeah, 7 roll angle is okay. It was at what? 7.2? Maybe just one more? Yeah, 6.9. That looks great. I just want to get it under 7. Alrighty. This is looking great. Now the premium sedan. Replacing our Firefly B01 with the B08. Looking all nice here. I think we had already given this one direct injection, but that means we can put some more quality into it, which is also a good thing. Very nice indeed. Okay. Interesting. So this is a 2.8 liter motor. Granted with a very different tuning, but the 1.5 liter Sport Turbo actually makes more peak power than this. Only by, I think, like 3 horsepower, but still, it's like almost double the displacement and it's less power, which is kind of interesting, but that's okay. Again, maybe just a point of exhaust quality, make it a little bit quieter. It's on the premium budget segment, which is exactly what I want. This car can definitely get a 6-speed. And do we want to change anything else? Maybe just, again, make gearing a little taller. Braking, nope. Looking good. Interior, standard. Or premium standard, rather. Electric variable steering, standard 2000. Safety. We'll also give this one semi-active sway bars because they're good for comfort as well. And then we need to make those semi-active sway bars subsequently a little bit stiffer to rein in the roll angle. Looking great. I put alloys on this, right? Yeah, I did. Okay, good. All right. That's our premium variant. I think the large... should we upgrade the factory? I mean, how long does it take to upgrade this factory? I don't think we're going to do it, because at this point, this is only going to be in production for like 4 years after it's engineered, so I don't think it's worth it to take the old one offline. But we will, again, up the tooling quality, up the automation, make a few more of them. Engineering time on this is actually very, very reasonable. We can up our automation, up our process, make it less wasteful, and take some pressure out. I think we go for, I think we kind of have to do the 96-month thing, because we don't have to, but it would be pointless to do less, because engineering is so cheap, were it not for its time that it takes. Monetarily, it's quite cheap, I should say. Engineering on this engine, let's just crank it right up. Wow, that's reliable. 101. This is a good engine, this flat 6. Wow. This thing, it just never fails. It's super smooth. Good power, good low end torque. Well, just a nice all-around motor. Okay, scores again, looking pretty strong. Premium budget model, that's still within the realm of reasonable. Okay. That looks good. All right. Now I do want to jump back into this Reliant project here because I think we adjusted the engineering time before doing the facelift for the E variant of the motor, the economy variant of the motor. So we're going to have to drop a little bit out of process to get it under that 96-month threshold so that we're not bottlenecked on it. Okay, now everything else is looking good, and the very last thing we have to do, which should be pretty quick because honestly, not too much to see here, as there really hasn't been on this episode overall, is of course our cargo van, and we'll just name it the 08, and we'll drop the utility variant of the 2.2 liter engine that we already made into it real quick. Select existing engine, and then U08. Great scoring still. It is going to get the shorter first gear. We'll take the spacing up. We'll take the ratio, or the final drive up is the actual word for what that is called. Looking great. Wheels, maybe we should make those just a little bit bigger. That would, yeah, that's going to allow us to make the gearing a little shorter, which I think they would like. Actually, significantly shorter. Still gets pretty good fuel economy too, to boot. That's a nice all-around package. Our front brakes now are a little bit lacking. Let's crank that up a little bit, or more front bias, and then maybe we just give it slightly more aggressive pads. Yeah, that does the trick. Aerodynamics looking all very nice. We'll still give it the electric variable steering. Do they like electric variable steering? Yeah, they do. They also like ABS, and everybody likes to be safe, so we'll put that in there. No real suspension changes. A 7-degree roll angle. Let's just, one click in there, get it below 7 degrees, and we are looking very good. Factory tooling, sort of the same thing. Going to give it some more tooling. Going to give it some more automation, because I think we will be able to jam it in this time. Actually, let me pop back in there for a second. I was moving a little bit fast. We can put the QA threshold up a little bit as well. All right, engineering time is frightening because of that ESC, but we don't need to be quite that efficient on our materials, and we can take the rest out of reliability. Yeah. 85 reliability, that's still really strong. 91 is still a good number. Let's go through this. Looking good on the forecaster. Okay, and our oh, look at that. Engine production just matching up perfectly. Love to see it. Okay, so now this is with all of our models all set up on here. We're ready to sign off. Looks like the total cost of the project is only going to be about $6 billion, which we can comfortably cover out of pocket. So I'm going to deactivate the loan and sign everything off. Tooling times look like they're going to be a year to 15 months, so we'll adjust our stock targets now. I'm just going to set them all right at 15 because we probably will never reach that anyway. Now, without further ado, let's let the game run a little bit, and I'll see you guys in 2016 on the eve of the launch of our new models. We are now in, looks like January of 2016, one tick away from all of our new models going back on sale again. Let's go ahead and let that tick run and see how these guys fare on the market. And the numbers, as expected, are looking very strong, and we're making tons of money because we still have a little bit of stock of our old stuff too. But wow, I see a lot of green there, and I like that. Cargo van doing particularly well. 200% markup on the old one, wow. Family sedans selling fantastically. Let's hop in the markets right here and take a look at our competitiveness and just see overall where we're selling and where we're not. So at the end of the game here, because this is our final lineup, let's take a look at where we are, where we're strong and where we're not. So what you can see here is pretty much we are selling very strongly everywhere on this side of the map that's not a premium segment. So everything from budget cars to family cars to city cars to vans and more basic off-road and utility vehicles, we're selling well. And we even are selling quite well in the premium budget category, meaning like, you know, this would be like a, I mean, I don't know actually what the analog of this would be in real life, but it's more premium than a regular family car, and I think more premium than a family premium car, but not as premium as a regular premium car. Whatever it is, we're selling well in it, and I think that's a good thing. The only place where we're not selling, as you can see, is obviously really in the sports segment. Our hot hatch is taking care of us in the fun and fun budget segment, which is its target, of course, but it's not quite a bona fide sports car, and we don't obviously have any true luxury cars, let alone supers or GTs. But I think let's actually add in our other countries here that we're selling in. Oh, wow, okay. I guess that if you include Arcana, we are selling the hot hatch as a sports car in Arcana, and it sells in that market quite well. And the Conquistador is able to sell actually as an off-road premium car over there. So look at that. A lot more green when you include Arcana on there. Guess they have a little bit lower standard. But anyways, let's keep playing along here. Now, normally at this point, of course, I would be thinking about what's our next batch of models and facelifts going to be, but the game ends, of course, in 2020, so there's no sense in doing that because we're not going to be able to engineer them in time to get them to market. And even if we did, the factory offline time would not really be worth it. So at this point, we're just going to run out the clock, see how many cars we wind up selling, and have a look at the end game screen. And boom, there it is, folks. We have completed our playthrough with just shy of 20 million cars sold in our lifetime. Our number one selling model being, of course, the 01 Mobilizer 2 Budget Hatch 01, which makes sense because it had a very long production run and it was a hot seller. Following that was the Budget Hatch 94, which I think was our final facelift of the original boxy body style, which was also a fantastic car, and that would have given us the time to have our factory up and running. And then lastly is the Handyman Cargo 01. We sold a lot of vans as well, but that is going to wrap up our automation playthrough. I am going to export just the hot hatch over to beamng, the most recent hot hatch, because I'm curious to see how that drives with the more power that we've added over to it. So I'll see you guys over there. I've been driving around in the updated hot hatch now for a few minutes, and I have to say, while it is definitely noticeably faster than the old one, it's not quite the barrel of fun that the first turbocharged variant that we did was. I mean, that thing was just such a blast to drive. This one's pretty good. It's definitely better than the old one. Not quite the return to form I was hoping for, though, but it's still a very fun car to drive. I won't count it as a failure. Let's see what top speed it'll get to down the straight here. Tipping 100. It certainly is. I mean, it's faster than the old one, that's for sure. Whoa! Whoa! I forgot to deal with the handling issue of its high-speed instability. Ooh, I don't know what that is there. It must generate some nasty lift or something. I'm not sure. But at slower speeds, it's a lot of fun. I don't know. These beam exports don't always work out the way that you want them to. I mean, the upshot is that it's pretty easy to rotate that tail going into a corner, which helps, because the front-wheel drive cars tend to be a little bit understeer prone. But overall, it's a pretty fun little car to drive, although, yeah, exactly, not quite the result I was hoping for, though it is a market improvement. Can we cut it around here? Yes, we can. I want to take a brief moment just to talk about plans for the channel moving forward, since this is the last episode after all of our light campaign Let's Play. first of all, thank you everybody for watching. This is my first foray into making YouTube videos, and I really appreciate all the support. It means a lot, and it's been a lot of fun for me, and I hope you enjoyed watching along with me as well. In terms of things that I want to be trying moving forward, I definitely want to continue making automation videos, though I am going to be taking a quick break from the light campaign, at least for a little while, but at the very latest, I'll be going back to it when we get the next update, which I don't think will be in the too distant future here. Between now and then, I have a couple ideas for videos that I want to do that are automation based, and I also have a few other indie games that I've been playing that I want to try my hand on making some videos as well. So if you're interested, stick around. I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.